Namaste. I am Dr. Sapna from School of Ayurveda in Panchakarma. Today I am going to give you an introduction about what is Ayurveda. As you all know, Ayurveda is very popular worldwide. It's a very old healing system originated 3000 years before Christ. It is also a simple way of living healthily, which means at that time people knew how to live a healthy life. And today many of the things which we do in our daily routine is actually opposite to how old people have done. Thereby we can see the quality of the health is also going down. Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word which is made up of two words. One is Ayu, the other is Veda. If you know the meaning of these two words, we can easily explain what is Ayurveda. Ayu means life and Veda means knowledge or science. So the simplest definition for Ayurveda is a science of life or knowledge of life, or Ayurveda teaches how to live a healthy life. But what is health? Without understanding this concept, difficult to live healthily. According to the World Health Organization, health is a state of physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Of course, there was a period where only physical health was considered to call a person as healthy person. But now we need mental and spiritual happiness also. But still this WHO definition of health is incomplete when we compare to Ayurvedic definition of health. Ayurveda is the oldest science which have first defined health very comprehensively. Health according to Ayurveda is the health of the body, mind, soul as well as sense organs. What is different here compared to the modern definition of health is the health of the sense organs. These are the 5 organs through which we perceive our senses, like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue as well as skin. Even though it's part of the body, it is still described separately in the definition of health. This tells that they are very important parts of the body and helps us to know how healthy is the body internally. So difficult to find perfectly healthy people according to Ayurvedic criteria, because at least one of the sense organs will become weaker for majority of the people in this world. So for example, check how many people in this world using glasses to read. If they take out the glasses, they are not able to see anything, right? Usually this happens when we become older, but when we look our grandparents' time, we remember they were reading without using any glasses. So age is not a factor to decide that we should lose our vision. But now when we compare to the youngsters, especially kindergarten children, majority of them, they have to depend on glasses to read. So these are all signs telling that something is getting imbalanced inside our body, thereby the quality of our eyes are getting weaker, right? Now the next sense organ is the ears. Of course, there are people with problems in the ears like sound, pressure, pain coming in the ears, or bells ringing inside the ears, which is called tinnitus, and gradually they start to lose the hearing, which again normally comes with age. But again we can see the elderly people, they were not having much problems to hear because they were doing some things daily, and the daily routine was helping to maintain all these functions. So ears having a lot of problems, so difficult to call that person as healthy person according to Ayurvedic criteria. The next sense organ is the nose. We have only one nose, supposed to be in the middle of the face, but now we can see the nose getting bent to one side, either with a lot of polyps or the septum become deviated, and thereby they are not even able to breathe properly, and gradually the perception of the smell becoming less. The next sense organ is the tongue. Usually when people put the tongue outside, for few people we can see the tongue is deviating to one side, and tongue is supposed to be the moistest surface where the surface of the tongue should be very plump, but now we can see many people are suffering with cracks coming on the tongue, and there is imprints of the teeth on the sides, and there is always there is some pigmentations on the tongue, which is all signs of imbalances which is happening inside. Usually people are not aware of all these things happening outside, right? They don't even have time to observe their body parts. And usually when people hear this information, they used to quickly stand in front of the mirror and they used to bring the tongue outside and start searching for many of these signs, right? And gradually the perception of the taste is also getting less. Or some people have thick white deposits coming on the tongue, and thereby the perception of the taste is also getting less. So one of the sense organ is weak, and thereby difficult to call that person as healthy person according to Ayurvedic criteria. And the last sense organ is the skin. One of the main complaint of majority of the people's skin is that skin is very dry, right? Of course, it's normal to have dryness coming when we become older. The wrinkles come and then the dryness is visible outside. But now we see that people are in the 20s and 30s, and majority of their complaints is the dryness of the skin. Few people, they used to complain their country is very cold. Some of them, they complain the winter season coming, it's cold and dry, and thereby they're having these problems on the skin. But if you observe all the people living in these cold countries and winter season, there are still people who don't have dry skin. So something has gone wrong somewhere, and this is what we have to find out. Why these changes are happening, especially when we are young. And according to Ayurveda, these are all reflection of some imbalances happening inside our system. And these imbalances actually reflected outside with the help of the sense organs. Besides the health of the sense organs, Ayurveda also gives emphasis on body's digestive mechanism, right? Also elimination and the health of the tissues and the balance of the energies which control the whole body. For example, if there is no daily bowel movements, it can lead to a lot of pressure in the abdomen, leading to a lot of pain or cramps in the abdomen, especially lumbar problems, lower back pain, some skin diseases, and in the end it can even lead to a heart attack, right? It can also end up having a lot of mental disturbances also. Similarly, if the digestive mechanism is not working right, even the food which we eat is not going to be digested. So we don't get any absorptions from the good quality food which we are eating. The food can be even transformed to toxins which can create plenty of other diseases. So we can see here that the Ayurvedic definition of health is very comprehensive and very logical also. So if you want to know the slogan for the definition of health, it states like this: Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhadu, Malakriya, Prasannatma Indriya Mana, Swastha Ityabhi Diyade. Which means the word Swastha is for healthy body. So to be called as a healthy person, he needs balanced energies which control all the functions of the body, which are classified as doshas. Along with that, we need good digestive mechanism, which is called Agni. And of course, the tissues should be strong enough, and tissues in Sanskrit we call it as dhadus. And we need proper elimination of the waste products like the stool, urine and sweat. And all these waste products are classified as malas. Along with that, we need happy soul as well as mind, which is Atma and Manas. And we need healthy sense organs also, which are called Indriyas. So you can see how deep is this old definition of health. So the simplest definition of health is a science of life or knowledge of life, or Ayurveda teaches how to live a healthy life. And now we have really clearly understood this definition of health. So like this, the small word Ayurveda, you can expand it infinite ways. So hope the information is clear till here. Another definition for Ayurveda is that is a very valuable knowledge. It's a knowledge about ourselves, to know who we are. Because according to Ayurveda, every individual is unique. So whatever imbalances they have, it's also different. Another explanation for Ayurveda is that is a very valuable knowledge. A knowledge about ourselves, to know who we are. Once we know who we are, then we know this is good and this is bad. And we are free to choose which way to go. Whenever we do the good thing, the quality of life is good. And whenever we choose the wrong thing, the quality of life becomes bad. So Ayurveda is considering every individual in this world as unique. So the faster we know who we are, it is easy to balance. We don't have to be a doctor to pass this information. Whoever get this knowledge, the main thing is to understand this information and start to use it for themselves to understand who they are, and don't stop there. Start sharing this information to people around you. So it becomes easier for them to understand themselves as well as survive in this world healthily. So for example, in Ayurveda we have hot bodies and cold bodies. Hot bodies are the people who cannot handle a lot of heat from outside. They might sweat a lot faster, and they always prefer cold temperature. Imagine this body drinking some alcohol daily. We have to understand whether is it good for that body or bad for that body. They are taking small dose of alcohol daily. So it depends on many factors. If the person know who they are and know what they are doing, is it good for them or bad for them, they could prevent many diseases coming in future. But we have to know what is alcohol. Is the alcohol heating or cooling? Right? So usually majority of the people have their own experiences of taking alcohol. They could feel the heat building up, and thereby we believe alcohol was heating. But everything we cannot experience to believe it. So from older generations always knew ginger was heating and mint is cooling, because books are very new. Even before the books came into existence, people got this information and they're sharing to the next generations. So many of these informations coming from generation to generation from their own experiences. So this body, we know the person is having already heat inside and they're taking small quantity of alcohol daily. It depends according to the environment. If the place is cold, the daily intake of small dose of alcohol was just generating the heat to protect from the cold outside. Right? But problem is they moved to a hot country. But even though this change came, people are ready, they actually continuing their habits. So his habit in a cold country was to take a small quantity of alcohol daily, but the same habit is continued even the person is living in a hot country. So gradually the heat of the body slowly builds up, and gradually it leads to a disease, a simplest disease called ulcer, which is like there is acids coming in the stomach, acidity creating ulcers in the stomach. Of course, the person could prevent this disease coming, but they have to know who they are and they should understand what they are doing. Is it good for me or bad for me? So they could prevent this disease coming, because prevention better than cure. But majority of the cases, people don't understand who they are and they don't know this is good or this is bad for me. So by mistake they do it, and thereby they are getting a disease in future. But some people, they understand the body is having heat and they know alcohol is heating, but they still do it because of their daily habits. And some people reach a stage where this habit is missing and the body start to get upset. Then we can use the word addictions for that. And because of these addictions, now they are having some diseases.